got into real estate 30 years ago, and we started investing in real estate to build a portfolio for retirement. And then I ended up getting my license in 2009, spent 10 years at Keller Williams. And then I moved over here in 2019. When I did that and then Lynn moved over, my wife, she moved over in 2014. We started doing real estate a little bit different once we came over to EXP in 2019. So we've been here 4.5 years. It was so noticeable to our kids that all 3 of them got their licenses. And so they work real estate with us. So we have all 3 of our whole families in real estate. When I was looking at EXP, I liked what I saw, and I called Erock. Erock was literally my first call, said, hey, take a look at this for me. And obviously he loved it.
Yeah, Jeff actually called me and said, hey, would you poke some holes in this new EXP model? And I've never heard of EXP. So I actually got on a Zoom call, and I was just taking notes about EXP just as a favor of Jeff and Lynn. And about 20 or 30 minutes in, I kind of had an eye-opening experience, and I thought, wow, this is completely different. And if Jeff and Lynn don't move, I'm probably going to anyway. And I told them that. So I made my decision within just a couple of days. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, why that difference was so apparent to me, because I'd been in the business at the time about 16 years as a realtor. So I hadn't seen anything like it until then.
Awesome. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of just go through an overview for all of us, right? And just kind of as a refresher for some of us. Some of this might be new for you. Hi, Kim. I see you on there. Good to have you join us. So we're gonna talk. We're just kind of talking a little bit about who we are, and then we want to talk about who EXP is. We're going to talk about why the model's working. How does EXP support their agents, and why Team Limitless at EXP? So Team Limitless is just kind of what we refer our EXP organization, where we're all in alignment to our sponsorship, which you're part of there, Jose and Kim and Don and Debbie. So we do some things over and above what EXP does. So we're kind of excited about that. So I'll skip over this slide since Erock and I have already kind of introduced ourselves, but we can just show our beautiful wives there.
They're here today.
Yeah, that's Lynn and Michelle. So I wanted to start off by mentioning something that was in the news lately. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see this?
Maybe, maybe not. Tell me.
So the #1 RE/MAX team in Canada just came over to EXP.
Wow.
They were not only #1 in Canada, but they were #3 in the world.
Wow, that's amazing.
They do almost $1 billion in volume a year.
Wow.
$1 billion. I mean, he's got a 60 agent team. So they're now over at EXP, and so that's like the new news. And the reason I started with that is it's got to make you think. Why would a team like that is that successful uproot? I think they were at RE/MAX for over 10 years and bring their whole team over to EXP. It's got to make you, what's that things like? Things that make you go,
yeah.
Is that Arsenio Hall? Things that make you go, If you're curious minded, right? You're like, I would think, well, why would he come over to EXP?
We know why.
Yeah.
But other people that are not with EXP might be looking and saying, why? That's really interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what's interesting is we do know why, and that's why we're doing this, guys. We're not really attached to the outcome of what somebody does with the information that we share it with them, but we like it here, and we know the opportunity here is so great that if we share it to somebody, they can make their own decision, and at least we've given it to them. But I'm not attached to whether they come or not, because it may not be for them, and that's fine, right? But when you see a company like that come over here, like Erock said, we know why, and we're going to share some of that with you today. So this slide just has a couple of key points for me to mention, because right now real estate brokerages are struggling. Volumes down, agents are quitting the business. Some of them are having to go back to their older careers. The market's kind of shifted a little bit, right? But EXP has been profitable through all of this. And so the stability of this company is very reassuring. They're investing in other companies. So they're continuing to grow. And we're going to talk about some of the newer acquisitions that they've just as of lately, that have really been kind of exciting and create opportunities for the agents. And our agent count is growing. So just as a frame of reference for when Erock and I joined EXP, which was early 2019, there was 16,000 agents at EXP. Now there's over 89,000 agents. That's quite a 4.5-year bump, you know, quite quite the growth. I also wanted to mention that for like last year, 2022, when everybody's really kind of struggling, and then 2023 has been a little bit tougher, EXP was the #1 independent brokerage in the United States. They were #1 in transaction size and the #1 top mover. So the Real Trends reports, a top mover is somebody who's made the most improvement from the previous year to the current year that they're doing the numbers on. They were #1 top mover in transactions and volume. So it's a very nice, stable place to be. Like you see on this slide, they got $130 million in the bank. That's obviously not a static number. It's growing or going down as they're acquiring businesses or whatever. But one of the most unique things about EXP is being cloud-based. The first cloud-based model started in 2009. So it's really worked out a lot of the kinks and figuring out how to do this online business. And now people are saying, we probably need to do that too, because our old-fashioned model is not working. One of the things I'm most proud of is what you see on this slide. They last year, not only were they profitable, but they shared $204 million back with their agents. That's pretty impressive. So being at a brokerage where you can buy and sell real estate and have a career is great. Real estate's a great industry to be in, but being able to actually create something while you're working your career that's going to create something for your future makes it even better. So one more slide on that, just to kind of show you the profitability of EXP. This is a comparison chart that was done by an independent study that was done. Mike Del Preti, I think is how you say his last name. He's really into analyzing the production of companies. This is showing publicly traded companies. EXP was the only one that was profitable through Q1 2023 or 2023. But one thing to point out is the loss that a lot of these other companies are experiencing. That's not very sustainable when you're losing per transaction up to $1,900 like Compass. And Jose, Don, Kim, you guys, I don't know if you're familiar with the name Anywhere that you see on there, but a lot of people always ask, you know, what company that is. It used to be called Relogy or Realty or however you want to pronounce it. Relogy is more of a conglomerate of companies. It's Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, Better Homes and Gardens, ERA brokers are all owned under the Anywhere umbrella. So that's just that conglomerate of companies there. So now, kind of like telling you how great the company's doing and it's working really well. Erock's going to kind of go into why.
Yeah, and this is really cool because I really
This one.
Yeah. So I really didn't understand this the first 2 or 3 years I was with EXP, and I was really excited about what EXP offered. But what is so fascinating is really learning about why EXP works. It's like, how can EXP be selling more real estate than anyone, be profitable when others aren't, and give $204 million back to their agents? It's just the math doesn't add up. So we're gonna do a little history lesson, and I'm gonna show you exactly why that is possible and why EXP is profitable and why we are so different. So what you're looking at right now, this is the old model that's actually been around for over 100 years. And so a franchise model is basically, that's an owner. It's an owner of a company. So like Keller Williams is owned by Gary Keller, or, you know, all the big companies that have been around forever either have one or two or a few owners that are investing and want to build a brokerage across the nation or across the world. What they do is they go look for regional owners to start growing their brokerage in certain areas in the country. And once they hire or they actually sell regions to other areas, those region owners are big investors. They go and they look for franchise broker owners, usually really successful realtors that have been in the business for a long time, maybe have a team, maybe they're already a broker, and they sell a franchise to a broker owner. And then the next thing that happens is these franchise owners they go and they hire staff and they hire team leaders and they hire recruiters to go out and get agents, which is the last piece when you look at this old model. And this model's actually been around for a long time. Coldwell Banker, 1906, was the first one that really put this together. And then, you know, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, there were more brokerages that actually ran with this model and did really well. Now, one thing that you'll notice, kind of what this model looks like, kind of looks a little bit like a pyramid, right? You know, you've got the owners on top, and you've heard of the franchise fees that a lot of these brokerages pay, like say 6% to a franchise. They kind of look at it as, well, that's just the cost of doing business. Well, that international owner is the one that's getting that 6%. And that's why they're so wealthy. A lot of them are, you know, multi-millionaires or billionaires, because they're getting 6% of every transaction. That's the best possible scenario. They're on the top of the pyramid. But what's really curious about this pyramid is, you notice where the agents are? They're not even in the pyramid. We don't get any ownership. We don't get any franchise royalties. We don't have any passive income. There's nothing in there. So we are kind of outside this ownership pyramid. But what's really fascinating about that is all of the revenue comes from the agents. So everything in that pyramid, if there's no real estate being sold, none of them make any money. So they're relying on the non-owner agents to go do this. Now, this old model is kind of similar to some of the other old models that we've seen in the past, right? There was nothing wrong with Blockbuster or taxis or anything like that until the world changed, right? We see a lot of change in the industry in the last 15 years, and most of it is because of online access, right? We have online programs, we have apps on our phones. Things have changed in how people do business. And I think Airbnb is a great example, because they're larger than say Hilton, and they don't have any office space. They're basically a cloud run hotel franchise. It's pretty incredible. So this hadn't really happened in real estate until EXP came along. They said, let's make this new model. Let's do what everyone else is doing, like Netflix, Airbnb, that are taking advantage of what's available technology-wise and get away from that old-fashioned model. So these old-fashioned models, I'm not going to read them off. You know those companies, they all run on that same model. So EXP was brilliant. Glenn Sanford, our founder, was brilliant. He said, what if we create a complete cloud-based brokerage and we eliminate everything in that triangle, or the pyramid, get rid of all of it, because there's a massive amount of expense and shared percentages on every single transaction that's being sold. So first of all, we're saving a ton of money. That's a huge thing. And that's when I say that I didn't understand everything at the beginning, that's what I didn't really get and click with me when I looked at EXP. Is it was brilliant that they got rid of all those expenses. So Glenn Sanford, our founder, said, well, let's take it a step further. Not only are we going to eliminate these expenses, we're going to give it back to the agents in the form of ownership, some revenue share, and it created a massive movement to EXP. So this is so key to really understand that I really I couldn't figure it out. It's like, well, how does it work? How can EXP be profitable and only run their company on only 10%? They run the entire company on only 10% of commissions. Everything else goes back to the agents. It's because of the cloud and a new model. So this new model, what it's done just in this 4-year span, this is just an example of one company. We all know Keller Williams. A lot of the other companies are very similar. From 2018 to 2022, they had 3,000 increase in agent growth. We already talked about this a little bit, but EXP is now over 89,000 agents in that short period of time. And it's because EXP is allowed to offer something that's never been offered in the previous 100 years because of this new model.
So a lot of people wonder what kind of support they're gonna have when they are considering switching brokerages or considering the one that they're gonna join. And this is like the perfect model right here, and EXP shines in each one of these areas. We all want support, right? We want support from corporate, from our brokers. Here we have mentors, we have our EXP organization, we have our sponsors, the tremendous amount of support that's really hard to match. The training's huge, right? We all need training and we want to really drill down to a niche, or we want to find our niche, right? And so with the training, we get to learn from all of the top producers across the country. Because we're cloud-based, they all participate in our 3D virtual platform and teach us how they've built their businesses. Where in the model Erock was just talking about, the old-fashioned model, you might learn from an agent or two within your market center, but most of them aren't really giving you all of their secrets because you're a direct competitor right there in their market. So that's really huge. Leads are huge. We're going to talk a little bit later about all the lead sources we have at EXP. If it's leads somebody wants, this is the brokerage to be at. It's almost overwhelming how many different sources we have for leads. And so we get to kind of pick what is more in line with our personality. Couple of the things that really attracted me to EXP is the ability to be an owner in the company and share in the revenue. That doesn't exist in a lot of the franchise models that Erock was just talking about. The old-fashioned model is their hierarchy is different, right? Like Erock showed you, the agents are on the outside, they're producing the income, but they're not really sharing in that growth and that revenue. So that's a real plus about being at EXP. As I mentioned before, we get to grow something in the background almost while we're just doing our business, our careers, and we're helping people buy and sell real estate, and we're being compensated differently to where we literally can build a wealth plan for our retirement. So this is a little snapshot. That's Ashley, my daughter Ashley's avatar there. She jumped into EXP World and took some screenshots just to show the ease on how it is to navigate around there. You can click on your state and go right into your state broker room. You can go into auditoriums for training. There's self-help rooms. There's accounting departments. I think they have over 750 employees working remotely across the country that are accessible inside EXP World. So that's kind of fun. Already mentioned the training, but one thing with the training is you get to select from a smorgasbord. It's almost like a buffet of classes there, what you want to go to, because you can possibly attend it all. And so there's a calendar there where you can attend classes on pretty much anything you want to learn on. Each state also does their own training. This is showing Utah because that's where we're at, but in Utah, our brokers meet weekly and they train on contracts. You have, broker Q&A hour. What does she call that? Broker coaching hour, very accessible. And that's also done in the cloud. And then here at Team Limitless, we also have our own masterminds. We do these weekly trainings. This is an EXP overview, but we have professionals that come in on the alternating Wednesdays and just teach us how to be better at our business and improve our skill and do more business. So there's just a lot there to plug into. I say all the time that if an agent comes to EXP, they really can't fail if they just plug in. So there's the training. You want to talk about lead gen?
Yes, this is one of my favorite parts of what we talk about. So Jeff mentioned the ownership piece, and we're going to talk about revenue share as well. When I first came to EXP, I was excited about our ownership because I knew that in 16 years as a realtor, I would never be an owner because I wasn't interested in buying a franchise and taking on that risk. So ownership was huge for me. But what's really happened in the last year or two is EXP's made a huge push to really help agents produce more real estate. And these are some of our lead generation tools. We're not going to go through all of them, but there's two platforms on here, KV4 and Chime, that are about $500 or $600 a month to have, that we either get for free or for about $40, which is awesome. So it's everything you need in a box for business, such as your website CRM, autoresponders, auto texters, and really keeping your business all organized. My lead just recently came out. It's pretty exciting because I always wished I could have an MLS for the entire country. Like you have a friend or a client who's moving from, say, Utah to Florida, for example. I don't have that MLS. Well, my lead basically gives you an MLS for the entire country that you can help your clients out in any state. And that's brand new, and hasn't been available to anyone. It's not available to any other brokerage. That's ours. Very cool. We also have EXP Revenos. This is basically a conglomerate of all the different lead generation that we have. And just briefly, we've got EXP Relocation. It's a relocation company. And we work with every single major relocation company in the country. So that's pretty powerful. If you want to be a part of having leads generated for you for relocation, EXP is the place to be. We also have a bank division. Affinity is a lead generation service. Express Offers is like a cash offer system for people looking to sell their house quickly. Bundle Select is an employee benefit package that allows us to offer and save employees and employers money on real estate transactions, and it's 100% free for employees and employers. It's incredible. So just right here, the Revenos, this year alone, as of a month ago, Revenos had given back 14,000 leads to EXP agents this year alone, which is pretty unheard of. That's pretty powerful. So if you want more business, this is the place to be. Even if everything else that EXP offers is not on your, on your plate. These are some just additional tools and affiliations that we have. You either get these for free or at a heavy discount, and we're not going to go through any of these, but because there's so many, but there's so much that EXP offers that no other brokerage has access to or offers. EXP Luxury is pretty much brand new. We just launched it this year. Really, really incredible. If you want to be a luxury agent and you want to get into that $1 million or above range, there is no one that competes with EXP Luxury like the way we do. So to give you an example, if you are going to list a $1 million property, you can actually let the seller know your property is going to be on Barron's, it's going to be on Rob Report, it's going to be on the Wall Street Journal, and no other brokerage is doing that. So, and it's also going to be syndicated and advertised in 80 countries, not just your local MLS, like other luxury brands might. So it's really a no-brainer for a seller to go with EXP Luxury. So we're going to make a huge wave in that. Even though it's brand new, you're going to see a lot more of it. And then also we have commercial. EXP Commercial is incredible. We have, if you know any commercial agents, we actually have a $20,000 cap on commercial, which is huge. Most commercial brokerages don't have a cap. So if you make $1 million in a year, you might pay $200,000 or $300,000 to your brokerage. We cap at $20,000. So for major commercial agents, this is huge. And then finally, I'm going to just discuss this real quick too. We have health insurance that's offered at a big discount for all of our agents. This is awesome because basically about a third of all realtors don't have health insurance because it's so expensive. And this is something EXP put in place with Clearwater, and this arrangement that gives them an opportunity to save on their health insurance. So now we're going to talk about the other fun stuff, the stock ownership. Jeff's going to take over on that. And this is where I really lit up and said, I need to be a part of EXP.
Okay, guys, we're going really fast because there's so much information here. So if you have any questions, write them down. We'd love to, kind of go into whatever you want to deeper when we're done. We're actually trying to go fast on purpose so that we can kind of just dump all this information on you. It is called an overview, right? There's so much available here that we're just touching on all these things. So now we want to touch on how you become an owner in EXP. There's actually 5 ways that you can earn stock at EXP. So for instance, when you do, Jose, I'm going to use you as an example. When you do your first transaction at EXP, they're going to give you a couple $100 worth of stock in the company as kind of like a reward for doing your first transaction. So that's pretty awesome. And it's better than receiving a certificate or a pat on the back. and so that's why we're all owners in the companies, because as soon as we do our first deal, we automatically receive some stock. When we cap, which at EXP, we're on an 80-20 split. Our cap hits when we have paid EXP $16,000. So when you cap, then now you go to a 100% model, right? And you don't have a split with EXP anymore. You have a small transaction fee. But by capping, they're going to reward you with another $400 worth of stock as a congratulations for reaching that production milestone. So that's kind of awesome. If you sponsor somebody in EXP, like for instance, I sponsored Erock. So when Erock did his first deal, he got a couple $100 worth of stock. But as a thank you to me for helping the company grow, EXP gave me $400 worth of stock. So it's another way that you can earn ownership in the company is by helping them grow. Another way that we can accumulate stock is by taking up to 5% of our total gross commission income and buying the stock at a 10% discount, which is super cool because we're publicly traded on NASDAQ. And you don't just get a coupon to buy publicly traded stock at a discount. The price is what it is, and it can fluctuate throughout the day, right? So EXP takes the last dollar amount of the last trading day of the month, and that you contributed to this program, and they buy the stock at a 10% discount and automatically just deposit it right into your trust account or your brokerage account. What do you get from that?
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. It actually is a gift. So they actually do pay the 10 extra %, but they give you it.
Yes,
They
we get
give
the
that to
discount,
you.
but yep,
Pretty
they have to
awesome.
pay the full ticket price. That's awesome. So there's another way that you can actually accumulate stock in the company, and that's by reaching a production status called the Icon Agent Award. So if you cap and you do 20 more transactions, you are now eligible to receive your entire $16,000 that you paid EXP back in the form of ownership in the company, which is really awesome. Now, all of these ones that we're talking about that are gifts or rewards have a vesting period of 3 years. I actually kind of like it because it makes you forget that you even have it, right? So for instance, when Lynn reached her Icon Award the first year that we were here, I think the stock was trading around $7, $8 a share. Now we're trading, have you looked at?
Like 14, somewhere around.
Right around $14, but it's actually split since then too. So that's like a $28 share to me, right? So by leaving that there, it's grown for us. So not only did we get it back, but it's growing for us and it's accumulating something for our retirement. An example I like to give is why this is critical is when I was at Keller Williams, I capped every year for 10 years, which means I paid them at Keller Williams, it was $18,000. So I paid them $180,000 over 10 years, but I didn't take anything with me when I left. I now have more than that in ownership at EXP in just 4.5 years. We're approaching 5 years and probably March is when I reset. So 4.5 years I've actually had something building for me by doing just what I was doing at Keller Williams. So that's pretty amazing. So now we want to go over that's the stock. I want to go over the revenue share program and how that works. To start off with an example and a comparison in your mind of what it would take to have some residual income for retirement. If you haven't seen these numbers before, what this means is if you have saved $900,000 after taxes in your retirement account, whatever vehicle that might be, your tax planner is going to tell you that you can take out 4% a year at retirement and avoid the risk of running out of money. If you take out more than that, then you might be depleting your principal and eventually run out of money. So 4% is what you can take out. So of course that math works out to $36,000 a year or $3,000 a month. That could be a great supplemental income for some people. That could be a great retirement income for other people, depending on your expenses and where you live or whatnot. But this is just an example. So you can do that. I mean, how many of you got $900,000 saved for retirement already? Don? Woke him up. Kim? No, but that's hard to accomplish, right? I think only, what is the number? Oh, it just skipped my mind. It's like 18% or is it 8%? 8.2% of all Americans have $1 million saved for retirement. So 1 out of 10. So that kind of shows you it's kind of difficult to do that. So let's now compare that with something else. Let's call this a 2-year plan. You can think of it as taking 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever you want. On this example, let's say in 2 years, you attract some agents to EXP. Like I sponsored Erock. Erock's one of my 6, right? Within 2 years, that's pretty doable, right? That's 3 a year. You're doing transactions with agents. You're going to networking events. People might ask you questions. A lot of people know about EXP right now. They know about it, but they don't really know it And so maybe introducing them to an overview like this would give them an opportunity to see if it's better than where they're at. So let's say you have 6 people in 2 years, and for this example, let's say they're all cappers. EXP is gonna pay you $2,800 of their $16,000 cap as a reward for bringing them to the company and helping the company grow. That's pretty amazing. And it's important to point out here that revenue share is off the top. It's not compared to, say, Keller Williams profit share, that where they're sharing the profits back if there are profits. This is right off the gross that's paid to EXP, comes right back to the agents. So that $2,800 a year would equate, or yeah, per agent would equate to $16,800. Just doing that alone right there, you can see how that would replace your cap. Whether that took 2 years, let's say it took 5 years. In 5 years, if you were more than 100% free of what you were paying to your broker for the rest of your career, wouldn't that be pretty amazing? I think so. So let's say that those 6 agents actually each bring 1 person on during this time too. That would be, another 6 agents on your tier 2. EXP is gonna, sorry, I meant to ask you guys what you thought tier 2 would be if you didn't know, and see what your guess was. But the reveal is out. EXP is going to compensate you more than tier 1 because they want you to support those agents that you brought in having them team build too, if they want. This isn't a requirement. This is something that you can do, but you don't have to do. Several agents that have joined us have come to us because of attraction, and we think the same, and we talked about EXP. It wasn't like I was cold calling and trying to meet agents and say, let me tell you about EXP. Everybody does a little bit different, but when somebody comes over and you sponsor them, EXP is going to reward you. So that amounts to another $19,200. And of course, that's the example, because with 12 agents, that is equated to having $900,000 invested after tax for your retirement. And I would imagine that it's going to take most of our working lifetime to do the first example. And in the second example, it could be 2 years, it could be 5, could be 10. But it's a lot quicker than the prospect of saving $1 million after tax, in my opinion. The cool thing is, with EXP, there's also a tier 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We can go deeper into this at another time and explain that to you that want to know more about that. But let me just give you a couple examples of back office screenshots of a couple of agents. This agent has 54 agents in his front line. That's what that FLA stands for there. You see on the slide, FLA is frontline agents. 26 of them are qualifying agents. All that means is they've done transactions in the last 6 months. So some of those other ones might have just joined, they're newer agents or whatnot. But 521 in his total organization, and his monthly revenue is just shy of $30,000. That's pretty impressive. This individual, and I don't know whose screenshot this is, but he's got 5,300 agents in his total organization, and his revenue share check is pretty livable. I could live off of that, maybe. So that's pretty impressive because that's a monthly figure. So let's give you a comparison. In your mind, think of what your ideal amount is that you would like to have invested for your wealth building strategy for your retirement plan, and what that would equate to. This example is a little bit different. We were talking about 4% interest. This one uses if your investment was making 5% interest. So it's a little bit different calculation there. But you can see from those numbers on that previous slide, that gentleman had, the first slide, $30,000 a month coming in from his revenue share. That's the equivalent of having over $7 million invested, making a 5% return. So kind of makes you think which would be easier, right? And more attainable. And sometimes this just happens organically, right? I mean, our team sometimes grows just by making relationships and networking with other agents, and they see what we have available here for us at EXP, and they end up coming over, and then we benefit from that. So I'm going to have Erock come back up here and talk a little bit about our international growth.
So what's so fun about our international growth is my first 16 years in real estate, all I really was interested in was kind of my Salt Lake City area. It didn't matter to me what the real estate market was doing in, say, Seattle or New York or Kansas City. It just didn't matter because I'm only focused on my market. and what's really happening. But with revenue share that Jeff just went over, where we can actually have agents be a part of our revenue share team that we get to share in some of those, transactions, it opens up the entire world. So you can have someone that lives 5 miles away from you or 5,000 miles away from you. It does not matter. The revenue share is the same. Now, when Jeff and I joined, there was, we were in the United States and half of Canada. That was it. Now we're in 24 countries and we're growing. Some of us have agents in multiple countries, which is very exciting to know that you can actually participate in a transaction in a different country. We're actually working on opening a new country next year, someone on our team. So very exciting opportunity that we've just never really had before. And that's what's so unique about the revenue share. So why Team Limitless, Jeff? You want to jump back in? I guess you can monopolize.
Oh, yeah, yeah, one slide on that one.
I did, that's it.
That's cool. So we love to be invested in our agent success. So that's why we host additional trainings, events, and things that we can get together and collaborate and network. I love talking about the transactions with the agents and just making that family feel. Here's an example of just some of the slides of trainings that we've done in the past. A variety of topics. Some of them are CE credit, some of them aren't CE credit. That's not really the goal. The goal is just to make us better or create a better agent experience is what I want to say.
Yeah, these classes are at the exact same time this class is. So we just do this class once a month about EXP. The other Wednesdays at this time is going to be an outside instructor that is tremendous value to give us talking points that help us sell more real estate and just be better agents.
Yeah. Well, I want to make one more comment on the talking points. I mean, whenever anybody's slow in real estate, my first thought is they need to have more conversations. We need to be talking to more people. That's where the business comes from, whether it's with that person or somebody they think of. Attending classes in a variety of subjects like this does give us talking points. It can be a post on social media. It could be a reason to call your SOI, previous clients, and said, hey, I learned this today. Did you know that? Whatever that might be. And so that's why we do these on a regular basis, is just keep that conversation going and expand our network. Why don't you take that next too?
So why EXP? We've gone over a lot of this already, but
Summary.
Yeah, this is kind of a summary. We are the fastest growing brokerage in history. And it's really because, as we mentioned, EXP has taken and given something agents that they've never had before. So when you're sitting and you're looking and you're thinking about EXP and your current brokerage, or if this is your first brokerage you're joining, it's like, does my brokerage have these 5 things that Jeff went over? Do they have 80 hours plus of training? Can I get training all the time that I need on a specific topic? And can I get training from other agents that are really successful quickly, that aren't in my competition? Can I generate leads? We already talked about leads and how the fact that EXP has more opportunities for leads than any other brokerage out there. I've never seen anything like it. And also support. Tremendous support. We have support not only from our broker, like any other brokerage, right? You have support from the broker, but we have support from your team as well. And then we also have international EXP world that also gives us support that is super easy and fast to get. And then finally, the last 2, does your brokerage offer stock ownership? Is your broker offering you revenue share right off the top when they sell other transactions in the brokerage that you weren't a part of? Probably not. So those are the 5 things. Do you have those 5 things? EXP is the only one that has all 5.
Awesome. So that brings us to the end of our slides. I want to open it up to anybody that maybe has any questions, or any of you guys that want to make a comment or add to what we've said. Jose, you got any questions? Did this bring up anything new for you?
I don't have any questions. Everything seemed, good.
Did you learn
Very
something?
interesting about the stocks. Yeah, the stocks and stuff like that. The trainings, the leads. Really like about the stocks. I'm a stock person. I do stocks and stuff like that. So that caught my attention a lot. Yeah.
Perfect. Good. So, yeah, being able to be an owner in the company you're working for is a unique opportunity. Instead of working for somebody else and just kind of having a job, right? That doesn't, leave you anything when you're done, when you want to stop working. So that's awesome.
I didn't realize it until
Yeah.
that we were renting our business from our previous brokerage. You know, now we're an owner at our brokerage, but when you hang your license at another brokerage that is owned by someone else, you're renting. And we always tell our clients, stop renting, you want to own and grow something for the future. But for my previous brokerage, I just rented for 16 years, kind of sad.
You know, another thing to point out that I didn't mention with the revenue share is that's something that even when you decide it is time for retirement, you want to slow down, maybe you move your license over into the referral division and you're just a referring agent, that revenue share continues. Another really important thing for Lynn and I with, you know, thinking about legacy and our heritage and stuff like that is it's willing. You can leave that to your kids when you're gone and that will still live on. It's pretty amazing. Anybody else?
I have a comment.
Hi, Kim.
Hey, so last year I was dealing with a lot of health issues and I was incapacitated and wasn't really working my business. And because I have shared this with other people and they have jumped on board with EXP, I was able to make money while I was incapacitated. And I think that's huge because that's kind of like the retirement thing. If I continue to invite and share this with people and they come and join, then that's more of a retirement and residual income that can come in for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, you know what? We've heard a ton of stories similar to yours, Kim, about people that either had family emergencies or health issues, and they literally were able to stay afloat because they had residual income. So super, super important. Everybody should have that. Whether it's buying rental properties for residual income in your future or helping a company grow that's really going to benefit that person. Yeah, that's huge.
No, with EXP, it's kind of a compound effect with every single one of these sides to EXP. You know, I had someone yesterday say, you know, I look at what you and Jeff have accomplished with the rentals that you own and the real estate you own, and I look at it and I think, gosh, you know, I'm never going to be able to accomplish that. But this person I was talking to is 20 years younger than me. And I said, everything we've done has been a compilation of what we've done throughout the years. And that's what I've noticed with EXP is that you get $250 worth of stock here, $400 worth of stock here. Someone sees, you know, what you're doing. They want to know why you're doing it. So then they want to see what EXP is about. And so you've got all these little things that are making you money. And you're just doing what you normally do. You're just sharing, because I mean, Erock shared his old brokerage. We shared Keller Williams when we were there because people would ask. So it's not like you have to do anything different, but you have to be passionate about real estate. And at least for us, passionate about helping other people, because then you'll actually grow faster that way. Definitely.
That's awesome. Oh, I thought you were going to do this because that's what I was going to do. Shayna. Yeah, wake up, join us, Shane. No, I'm just kidding. I was just gonna ask you, why you joined EXP?
Oh, boy. Okay, you asked me this yesterday. Oh, we already talked about this yesterday. So, okay. So I had no desire to move where I was, to be honest. I was very happy where I was, very comfortable. And I think it kind of came down to the possibility of there being more. I have at my previous brokerage, I was doing pretty good. I had all the awards, I was winning all the competitions, very competitive, but there really wasn't much to compete against. It was getting to that point, like it was getting to where I was just, everyone was tired of me winning everything. And so, but I liked it because it's good for my ego, right? But when I was first introduced to EXP by Ashley and the Marchants, I just started realizing that there's actually more, there's way more opportunity here. And there's so many, they already kind of touched on all the opportunities for lead generation and things like that. But I just like the idea of having ownership in the company and having that residual income. I'm really looking forward to that, and that's way more important to me than the piece of paper and the awards, and those are all just sitting in a drawer at my house right now. So I'd rather have stock.
And you've been here just about a year?
A year.
A year.
Yep.
Awesome.
And I'll take that thing off.
Take that. At least I didn't say, hey,
Yeah.
come on, stand up front with us. You know? No, I mean, thanks for sharing that, because we all come for different reasons, right? Shayna had a relationship with Ashley. They became friends outside of EXP, and then it kind of like evolved into a discussion about EXP. It wasn't a forced situation. And one thing that you did say on that call that you were talking about the other day is, it's like, I actually love EXP more now than you did then.
Yeah.
Because you didn't really even realize all of the benefits, and there's newer benefits that have come out in the last year. And it does just keep getting better and better. Kim, are you raising your hand, or was that from before?
That was from before.
All right, so I'll consider it a wave. Anybody else? Any questions? Debbie, do you have any questions? Anything on that overview that we could explain a little bit more? Or... You good?
We're good. Thumbs up.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're gonna wrap up that portion of it, and we actually have a sponsor here in the office for our little get together here that brought us lunch. And my good friend Janet is sitting back there, and we even have a slide for you. Look. Yeah, thanks, Ashley.
That's fun.
So, yeah, Janet has been helping us out a lot with our flooring, with our tenants, with our referrals and people, you know, our clients, even listings that need to get ready to be sold. She does a great job. And I think with any business, your rep and your person you deal with is as important, just as important or more important than the products or, you know, the brand or whatever. It's who you're dealing with. So come on up here. We got a few people on.
Janet is so amazing. I'm trying to get her to be a real estate agent.
Yeah.
That's where I would go. So it's so great to see everybody. I've been working with Shayna, met Steve, or Jade, okay. And so and obviously Ashley, Michelle, American. Lynn, of course, everybody that I've known here. So I've been working with these guys for about 4 years, I think, and they are incredible. It's so fun to have just these connections, and then the energy that they have, and then they share more connections with you. And so that's kind of what I do. It's just, I feel like my whole business is connections. And so I work with Factory Flooring Direct, as you can see, we're not actually that. We are a flooring company, been in business over 20 years. So full-fledged, we do carpet, tile, laminate, hardwood, install and material only, either way. We warranty the carpet for life. So we're the only company that warranties the installation. So if something needs to be stretched or whatever, we'll warranty that for you. The other difference is having a person, a one contact. I'm your one contact. I set up the measure. I would meet with your clients, do the install. I mean, not do the install. I kind of wish I could do it all. So do the bids, everything, the discount, which I'll tell you about. So that is who we are. And it's a great company to work with. I've been in this business 25 years. So that's that deal. As far as what I want to introduce to you again is a relationship. We want relationships with realtors because they know what it's about as far as keeping with clients and with marketing and networking and that relationship, which turns over and over for life. So we're offering a realtor program. It's free. You just sign up on that little code. If that code is attached, well, I don't know if the code is attached to this or if that's attached to our website. I think it's just our website. Yeah.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, that's our website.
Okay.
So currently the store that is the storefront that we have, that's a big showroom, is in Lake Point, just past the airport. But they are having me open one up in Draper. So that is coming soon. And then we can right now I've been feeding everybody out of Lake Point, or they kind of set me up where I've got a bunch of stuff in my car too. So I'm kind of mobile. So okay. So anyway.
Sorry, I'm getting the right QR
Thank
code.
you. So yeah, anybody online,
Even gonna-
if they can pull up this QR code, you just register, you're just registering with me, and then I'll just update you with sales or with product or just information, and then you're a part of our program. So how it works is you could just, any clients that you have, you would just shoot them a text, add me to it, say, hey, this is Janet, and she'll take care of you. You don't have to worry about anything. I will follow up with them. I'll check how everything's going. You can 100% trust me that I'm gonna give them that VIP experience, which is what this networking and everything is all about, which gets you clients to come back. So we're gonna give them 10% off of everything on their invoice, and that is a line at the bottom that they can see that, and that includes install, pull up, everything, not just material.
Nice.
And then anything for your own home, we give you 20%, which is pretty much an employee discount. So that's kind of where we're at, and I love my job. Taking care of people and just networking, and it's awesome. So that's that deal. I do have a giveaway. Okay, where's our store gonna be? There. Okay, there you go. So, anyway, any questions that you have?
No questions.
No questions.
I can say that we, sometimes there's a disconnect in communication, right? Between the installers and the measurers and this and that. Janet actually did some carpet for me at an addition we did at our house, and they brought their own carpet for the stairs. And working with Janet made it super easy to get that fixed. Instead, the installers were saying, well, this is what we were told to bring, and then everybody was kind of like passing the buck until I called Janet and went, "I'll figure it out."
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
Take care of it for
That's
you,
my
so that
jam.
You don't get that call as the realtor.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I second that. I've had 2 clients work with her recently, and same thing, like, it was just really nice anytime there was an issue or anything, they were really happy to just be able to call Jan.
And they don't happen often, but when they do, it's really nice to have
Yeah.
somebody take care of it.
It's
for you.
just a simple question,
Mhm.
like, and instead of just putting it off and not knowing,
Mhm.
they feel confident in being able to call you. So,
Yes, and thank you. All of you have brought me customers.
Mhm.
So.
Mhm.
this is
Great, awesome, okay,
Wood garden for you. Oh,
yeah.
So.
So you guys on Zoom, sorry, go make a sandwich or something. Oh, man. Great seeing you guys. Don't hesitate to reach out if we can do anything for you, if you have any questions. You want to talk about anything more about what we did here. Jose, sorry, I think Janet only does carpet in Utah.
Sorry.
Good to see you, Jose. Thanks for sticking to the end, Kim. Okay, we'll talk to you guys later.
Later.
See ya. Bye.